Hey allies, what's up? So in this video, I want to give you a breakdown of what macros are. So a lot of people are probably wondering, what's this whole macro dieting thing that people talk about? What are macros? When my trainer gives me my meal plan and says, eat these macros, what does that mean? It's actually a really simple term. And I'm gonna break down what each of the little components of it are, okay? So understanding macros. Macronutrients just means that it is a food item that contains calories. That's all that it means. It just means it has macro energy value, calorie value in the food. That's it, okay? We won't talk about micronutrients in this video, but macros or micronutrients are simply non-calorie containing nutrients, vitamins and minerals. Things like vitamin A through zinc, plant-based nutrients, and those can be laundry lists long. But pretty much we want to focus on eating micronutrient-dense foods, primarily that happen to contain calories, okay? Rather than eating just calorie-dense foods that don't necessarily have vitamins and minerals, okay? So that's for another video, but this is what macros are, calorie-containing nutrients. You have four primary four primary pillars within the macro family. That's protein, carbohydrates, fats, and alcohol. Each of these four items contain calorie value, okay? And they contain a different calorie value than the others, except for protein and carbs. Those happen to be the same. So let's start with protein. Why is protein so important, right? We talk about getting more protein in your diet. Don't eat as many carbohydrates or fats. Not that any of these are bad items, just we need to, eat the right balance of these things, okay? So, but protein is made up of what are called amino acids. Protein is just a chain of molecules, and each of those molecules is called an amino acid. That's it. Each of the amino acids serve different functions in your body, kind of like vitamins and minerals. Things like muscle maintenance, recovery from workouts, building of new muscle, and increasing metabolism as a result. This is a big one. So for those of you whose goals are fat loss, be paying attention still. Don't just blank out because you saw muscle building and you're like, oh, that's not my goal. Your goal really actually is to increase your metabolism because you want to burn more fat, correct? So the way to do that is, the easiest way to do that is through increasing not necessarily muscle size, but muscle density. That will increase your metabolism. Depends on who you talk to, but the more muscle you have, you'll burn about 10 to 50 calories more per day per pound of muscle that you have, okay? So that will really help with your fat loss goals. And then protein contains about 4 calories per gram. So when you weigh your food, if you ever do that on a food scale and it says however many grams, you have, if it's a pure dry chicken breast or something, you have about 4 calories per gram of protein, okay? Next, you have carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, or carbs, are just basically sugar. It's just sugars. Now, not all sugars are created equal, okay? So when I say carbs or sugars, don't make that mean that carbs are bad. Carbs aren't bad for you. It's the right balance of carbs for your body type, your activity level, and your goal. Okay, so some people get to eat a lot more carbs because they have a certain body type, they have a certain metabolism, they have a certain amount of muscle mass and body fat percentage, and they have a certain goal, and they're really active, right? And other people have to reduce a little bit of their carbohydrates because they don't have as high of those levels. So you have simple carbs and complex carbs. These two terms just mean simple carbs are basic sugars, 1 to 2 molecule sugar molecules. That's it. So this equates to fast, quick energy. And it's one reason why you get sugar cravings. Because when you're under stress, your body knows if I get sugar, I will feel good. I will get some energy. I'll get a little kick of dopamine. So that's why dealing with sugar cravings is difficult, because your body knows it will give itself fast energy. And fast energy means I'm not stressed and I'll survive. So that kind of explains some of the science behind why you feel that way, craving simple sugars rather than complex sugars. So complex carbs or complex sugars just means it's a longer chain of sugar molecules. This means it takes longer to break it down during digestion. So that means that it's going to be slow, steady energy, because rather than just quickly burning 1 or 2 molecules, it has a chain of many, many molecules to break down slowly over time. And then that gives you a slow but steady level of energy throughout the day rather than sugar highs and lows, okay? This is why we want you to focus more on complex carbohydrates, slow digesting sugars, than as many simple sugars. The one time that these things are really good is in three situations. Before your workout, to increase your energy so you can work harder in your workout. During your workout, in case you're getting lightheaded or you didn't eat well enough a few hours before. And after your workout, to help absorb more protein, because protein will piggyback off of those sugars and get into your muscle faster after the workout. If you have some sugars, not a ton, but some. Okay? And then all other times throughout the day, you should be eating healthy, complex carbohydrates. Let me give you some examples as we go through. Protein, actually, just look at the macro cheat sheet, the approved foods list that we have in attached with all this content. And that will tell you what food items are going to fall into these categories. But these are typically animal proteins, some plant-based proteins, supplements, eggs, meat, that kind of thing. Some dairy products. Carbohydrates are a wide range of things. Fruits and vegetables are what you primarily want to have most of. And then some healthy starch carbohydrates like sweet potato, rice, that kind of stuff. The simple sugars are going to be more like juice, coconut water, blended fruit, because it breaks up the fiber. Other simple sugars, I'm drawing a blank. I can't think of it right now, but that's basically what your simple sugars are going to be. Complex are going to be more whole food, more fiber, vegetables, some whole food fruits, sweet potato, again, certain grains like brown rice, that kind of stuff, okay? Then fats. Fats are basically just fatty acids. Think of them as, again, that little fat molecule, and there's a chain of them together, okay? Fat functions often serve brain function, joint function and lubrication and health, organ function, hormone production, and heart health. There's obviously a lot of other functions with some of these nutrients, but these are the big hitters, okay? Another reason, real quick, why your body craves carbohydrates a lot is because simple sugar carbs give you fast energy, right? It's easier for your body to produce energy from carbohydrates than fats. It doesn't mean that carbs are better than fats, and it doesn't mean that fats are better than carbs. It just means your body gets energy from both of these. It tends to like carbs more because it's easier for that to process. But you can absolutely use fat for fuel in your diet and body fat, okay? You just have to teach your body how to do that, all right? Carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram, just like protein. Fats have 9 calories per gram. So this is why you have to be careful with fats. Not again that fats are bad, but fats have more than 2 times the calorie level that protein and carbs do, and those foods tend to be way more dense, meaning they're smaller, but they're way more packed with calories. So it doesn't mean that calories are bad, but it's very easy for you to overeat on fats by accident, and that can inhibit your fat loss goals. Okay, so just be mindful when you're eating these foods that fats have more calories than the others, and this should be in smaller serving sizes. But your macro percentage throughout the day may be different depending on your body type and what we give you. And then the last thing that has calories is alcohol. Now, alcohol is a toxin, okay? So there's not really any health benefits to it. I guess other than maybe some medicinal benefits, but really alcohol is a toxin. Your body will treat it as such. And the reason why this can be so harmful is it does have empty calories, so it's 7 calories per gram. So it's more calories than protein or carbs. Not quite as much as fats, but that does add up. The other thing that I want you to know about this is that when you're consuming alcohol, what happens in the body is that your liver detects that there's a toxin inside of it. So if you've consumed alcohol with food, which is pretty common, then your body is not going to prioritize the breakdown and metabolization of that food. It's going to prioritize protecting your body from toxic substances. So it's going to prioritize the metabolizing of this, which often leaves these other food items to sometimes get stored as body fat. So that's why you want to be careful about your total overall alcohol consumption, either because it'll put you over your total daily caloric intake and cause some fat storage, or because if you're drinking too frequently, the food you're consuming with it might be getting stored as fat, Okay, so be careful with alcohol. I recommend reducing that to about 3 drinks on average per week, and try to stay away from the high calorie stuff and drink clear liquors. And low sugar wines and more dry wines and less beer, that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's kind of how macronutrients work. You'll see sometimes we share with you these pie charts. So you can see like 40% protein, 30% carbs, 30% fats. Now this is an example. This is not your calories. This is just an example, okay? So don't take this to heart, that it's like the numbers for you. But if I were to look at 1,600 calories throughout the day, a lot of you clients are on this intake for fat loss, okay? That at 40% of 1,600 calories being protein, meaning we want a high protein amount because we're trying to increase metabolism and muscle mass. And we do need some energy from fats and carbs. So, those would be the remaining amount, 30%. This might fit a certain person's body type, but 40% of 160 calories is 160 grams. Let's see, 30% of fats would be 53 grams, and 30% being carbs would be 120 grams. If you're curious how you find these numbers, you take your total daily calorie intake, times it by the percentage in a decimal form. So let me do this for you. So 1,600 calories, let's just do the protein portion, times 0.4, okay? So that's going to equate, oh no, you got me on the math. Ugh, I don't know 40% of that. Well, let's do reverse math. 160 times 4, because there's 4 calories per gram of protein. So that times 4 would be 460, 520, plus another 120, 640 calories, okay? Wow, you guys, I passed the test. So this 40% of 1,600 calories is about 640 calories of protein, okay? If this is getting too granular for you, don't worry about any of that. You really don't have to worry about that. Apps like MyFitnessPal will track it for you. We give you your percentages. You just plug your food into MyFitnessPal. It tells you how close you are to your goals. So don't even worry about it. But in case you want to nerd out, that's how you do it. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for you guys to understand what macros are, what proteins, carbs, fats, and alcohol are, and what they do in your body. This will help give you a better understanding. And remember that though these items have certain functions in your body and they contain calories, which are potential energy, it doesn't mean that your diet is complete if you only eat macros. You do need to get non-calorie containing nutrients like vitamins and minerals, and those are going to come from the foods. The best items to get them from are going to be foods that look like they look in nature, what we refer to as whole foods. Foods that look like they do in nature, animal or plant-based products. If you see anything that it looks like it's not in nature, like you don't see a cracker tree or like a chip bush or like, a candy vine, right? Like, so you basically want to just eat food the way it looks in nature and try to stay away from processed, packaged items as much as possible. And that will help you with your goals. So there's your lesson for today on nutrition. I hope you found that helpful. Let me know if any of this was too confusing. We can simplify it even further, but I hope that gives you an understanding now so you can tackle some of your nutrition goals and tracking your food and understanding what that food is just a little bit better. So awesome. Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.